This guy is an all-around champion. He's a superstar with countless adoring fans. He's a role model for millions of kids who just want to be like Mike. He's basketball great Michael Jordan, a guy who knows that hard work and commitment are necessary on the road to success. You grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Right.
And life wasn't easy. You didn't come from a wealthy family, did you?
No. And my family was pretty much hardworking. My mother, when I was young, had 2 jobs. My father had 2 jobs. He was the type of guy who was mechanically inclined. I learned the hard work ethics that he basically used to, live our lives.
What person had the biggest impact on your career?
My brother.
Your brother?
He's a year older than I. He's much smaller than I. And he was my challenge, my competition as a kid, basketball-wise or sports-wise. He wanted to excel, I wanted to excel. We competed against each other in the backyard in basketball. We end up in fights, arguments, about the sport. So my determination came trying to beat him. And if I could beat him, I could beat anybody.
You said you stumbled upon your dream. Is the level of success you've achieved far beyond anything you've envisioned?
Oh yeah, by far. I mean, I've envisioned myself playing as a kid, playing professional baseball, because I started baseball when I was 6 years old, and I had most of my success as a child in baseball. And I really didn't have my success at basketball until in my later years. I never chased that dream of becoming a professional basketball player or even a professional baseball player. I just played the sport because I loved it. And because of the work that I put into it, next thing you know, success was kind of bestowed upon me without me actually chasing it. It just happened. I didn't think I would ever be this successful.
Based upon the fact that I work with the NBA, I have the opportunity to see you work within a group. And most people don't know that a lot of your success has to do with your ability to work within a group.
I like to be known as just one of the guys, just one of this team. We did this together. Michael didn't do it by himself. And when I'm with my teammates, I try to involve them in a lot of success that I've had. I mean, we won the championship. I remember when Disney people came to me and said, well, could you do this? I'm going to Disneyland. What would you do after you just won a championship? I'm going to Disneyland. And I said, I will not do it unless you include the starting 5, because I didn't do this by myself. I felt compelled to do that because I don't want to overshadow anyone. I love for us to be successful. But I believe, and I've always believed, that when the team is successful, everybody shines. All the individual accolades will take care of themselves. Everybody's going to blossom from this whole situation. So when I'm with my team, and you've seen it, I'm not going to be the one that overshadows everyone. I want your comments as much as his comments. If you're expecting me to carry the whole weight or speak the whole time, I don't want to do that, because then I'm taking more of the responsibility. When you are just as adult as I am, you have an opinion just as much as I do. We need that to form this team.
How difficult is it for you to be 100% you?
It's tough. It's tough. I can't, I told my wife a while back, when all this was just starting to happen, I lead a split personality in a sense, because the life that I live, people project me to be 35 years old because of the responsibility that's bestowed upon me. But I'm only 29, 30 years old. And most 29, 30-year-olds have a certain lifestyle or certain oats that they have to roar through before they get to this mature part of their lives. And I'm being cheated because I'm not expected to go through that or live that part of my life. I'm expected to be the purest of all pure.
Right.
And that's not fair to me. And in the younger stage of my life, I tried to do that. And that wasn't, the correct thing to do, but I thought I was doing it because I didn't want to let people down. I wanted to be that perfect role model. But it took a while to learn how to be myself 100%. I tried to be the public for 95% of my time. Now, with my wife and my kids and reality of the humanistic side of me, I've learned how to be myself 100% of the time. Either you accept that or you don't. And I want you to. I want to be positive, but if you don't want to accept me for that way, then I got to live my life as my parents have taught me to do.
You know, Michael, you are an icon. Is there something greater than yourself that you call on for support for that foundation?
The man upstairs is always the ultimate, guy or person or thing that I can go to for that motivation. But my support systems, from my family to my closest friends that knew me before, Michael Jordan, the star icon, everywhere he evolved, and my family, my wife and my kids. Those are my support system. Those are the people that if I have a problem or if I have something that or need support, these are the people that I go to. I believe that God has given me all this success for a reason, but at the same time, He's also let some of the dark side of my life leak into the public side for a reason, and I've accepted both. I've always believed that I'm a good enough man to accept the good, I'm a better man to accept the bad. And I believe that. And as people and as public, we should adhere to that at the same rate. Because if you're going to accept the good side of Michael Jordan, the charity things that he does, the relationship with kids that he has, then if something negative seeps in there, look at it for what it is, but look at how Michael Jordan deals with it in a positive way so that it doesn't deteriorate what he's been working in a positive mind for the kids that may look at him as a role model.
On the court, you're one of the most instinctual players that I've ever seen. Now, how does that instinct translate into being a father?
It's tough because you got a lot of different pressures now than what you had as I was growing up. As I was growing up, I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina, so the pressures were not as great as if my kids are growing up in the city of Chicago, and it's a much bigger city with much bigger pressures. It's much more of a challenge as a father to try to steer your kids away from that. But I'm willing to accept it because I do have the knowledge to a certain extent of how to deal with it, how to kind of make a negative into a positive. That motto that I live by, I must instill that with my kids. Let them understand that and try to teach them the ways of dealing with negative things that may sneak up in their lives.
You are without question one of the most gifted players I've ever seen. What makes you different from other people?
Once again, it falls back to my parents in terms of how I approach the situation. I never feel that I'm at my best. I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove, not just as a player, but as a person, as a father, to some extent as a role model in all aspects. So I'm never really too complacent with myself or with what I've achieved. When I get to a point where I feel I can improve as a player, I walk away from the game. I still feel that I have a plateau that I hadn't reached yet in terms of my skills or my expectations of myself. I'm always going to expect myself to do certain things or surpass certain things. As long as I believe that, then my road to success is going to continue to expand.